Effectively, Ruben Amorim said a couple of days ago, right before the Sunderland game, my players are being impacted by what pundits are saying about them. My players are listening about the system and the formation. And effectively, my players are being impacted by what's being said outside. I know what I think about this. This is what Gary Neville said. He says, I've got not a lot of time for that. For a start, if pundits are getting in your head, you shouldn't be playing for Manchester United. It's as simple as that. Do people not remember Alan Hansen criticising us, saying we'd win nothing with kids? That was the greatest and most successful centre-back of all time at that moment. Did they not think we got criticised during our careers? I think that's a great way I mean, I can't. And I don't always agree with Gary Neville. Of course I don't. But I also am very, very fair. And I can't argue with that. Like, if you are being impacted by pundits and social media, you shouldn't be a Man United player. And people go, whoa, they didn't have to deal with that in their day. Hold on a minute. Match of the day in 1995 and 1996 was bigger than Twitter. It was bigger than YouTube. I mean, this was the thing millions watched. You didn't have your say as a fan. It was basically Alan Hansen, Jim Eel, Des Lynam, that was it. And he sat there after our opening game and said, basically, these kids aren't good enough. You can't win anything with kids. So, that's the ultimate put down for a bunch of kids. We went and won the bloody double. So it goes to show you that criticism in those days was used as an inspiration. He says, do they not think we got criticised during our careers? I'm sorry, you're playing for Manchester United. It comes with the territory. You've got to step up. He also went on to say, I played in a dressing room that when you lost, there was accountability. Why would you blame other people when you're losing matches? That's a pretty big problem in itself. I've not got any time for it. Excuse mentality, shortcuts, blaming other people. It's the worst thing you can do in life. I tell you what, I'm liking Gary Neville a lot. I'm liking Gary Neville. I mean, these are the sort of things I say. It is a bloody big problem. Blame shifters, excuse mentality, shortcuts. It is the worst thing you can do in life. And unfortunately, we've got a lot of it at Manchester United. He says, I think they need to concentrate on doing their jobs, doing it well and winning matches. It's the only thing that's going to shut people up. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, what he's basically saying is, if Ruben Amorim is publicly saying that Man United players are impacted by external noise, then they shouldn't be at Manchester United. And what Gary Neville is saying is that blame shifting, excuses, shortcuts are the worst type of people to have. And on top of that, the way to shut people up is to get results and win. I haven't got a problem with any of that. I haven't got a problem with any of that. And if anybody does, or anybody agrees with it, this is your opportunity to have your say. Where I would jump in is, I don't really think, look, I don't know what Gary Neville thinks about Ruben Amorim. Some of you are Ruben Amorim out, some of you are Ruben Amorim in. I saw an interesting thread today that Sunderland played shit and Man United could have been torn apart by a team that knew how to move the ball because there was so much space in our midfield. We won the game 2-0. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. If Bruno had scored his penalty against Fulham, we'd have another 2 points, So, shoulda, woulda, coulda. But in relation to this, Gary Neville's nailed it. He's absolutely spot on, in my opinion. That's exactly the sort of stuff I want to hear from an ex-player who's been there, done it, and is a fan of the club as well. Excuses, shortcuts, get in the bin, work hard, don't use excuses about... I can't stand these people who go, one of the biggest problems these players have is social media, is fans. We're the problem because we're so critical. What a crock of shit. What a crock of shit. They're paid hundreds of thousands of pounds a week. They're not even Man United fans. They're professionals. They're not Man United fans. They're professionals, these players. They're professionals. They're making money that is going to be money for the rest of their lives and probably set their families up as well. They're professionals and they are impacted by external criticism. Grow up, knuckle down, do your job and stop blaming other people. I absolutely agree with that. But I don't take it as a criticism towards Ruben Amorim. You can say that Ruben Amorim was wrong to say it, but is it not honesty? What Gary Neville is saying is right, but I don't think it's anti-Amorim. I don't think the issue is between Amorim and Neville. I think they're both saying the same thing in a different way. I think Ruben Amorim's saying my players are impacted by external noise. He's not saying my players are impacted by external noise. I feel really sorry for them. Stop talking about them because they're weak and I want to protect them. He's saying my players are listening to you. They're listening to you talk about my formation. They're listening to you criticising them, and it's impacting them, in my opinion. Gary Neville is saying that's ridiculous that they're being impacted by that. I don't think Ruben Amorim's saying it's not. I think Ruben Amorim's just saying they are impacted by it, and Gary Neville's saying it's ridiculous they're impacted by it. Maybe Ruben Amorim thinks that as well. So two things can be right. I don't think this is about Neville versus Amorim. I think this is about Neville being very blunt and delivering a harsh truth. And I think Ruben Amorim is delivering a truth as to why the team's not doing very well and why it's inconsistent, why we're a light switch team, because we have weak mentalities.